Okay, we're here this morning as a follow-up to our first annual lobster roll competition this past weekend. We've got three of the judges. We've got Sister Felicia, Wendie, Demuth, and Kim Smith here to show us this morning how to make the traditional Joey's Missus lobster roll. Now, take it, Felicia.
Good morning, Gloucester. This is a very simple recipe. You're going to start with your cooked lobster. I recommend that you cook it and put it in the refrigerator and cool it. It's just easier to work with, but if you don't want to and you're in a rush, that's totally fine. But we're just going to walk you through the simple steps of how to make the traditional lobster roll. Very simple ingredients.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
How long did you cook these lobsters for?
You're going to put about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of water in a very large pot. You're going to bring it to a boil. You're going to put the lobsters in and you're going to boil them for about 25-30 minutes. When the lobsters turn this bright color red, that's when you know you're done. It really depends on the size of your lobsters. If the lobsters are a little bit bigger, they're going to be closer to the 30-minute range. If they're smaller, you know, the chick lobsters, you might be closer to the 20-minute range. So it's kind of not an exact science.
Not the girl lobsters.
Yes.
Chicks are 1-pounders.
You're looking for the bright red color.
You're basically steaming them.
We're steaming them. You're not boiling the lobsters. We're steaming the lobsters. Okay. And I recommend when you put them in the water using long tongs. So we sped up the process.
Just like the Today Show does, you know.
Just like the Today Show does.
Pretty much who we are, that caliber.
Today at GMG Studios.
Today at GMG Studios.
Okay, so here I'm going to give everybody a lobster. Now these are soft shell lobsters, so we technically can just tear it apart with our hands. But if we have trouble, you can always use your cracker for your claws. Okay?
Or your hammer.
I'm going to move.
Or any other weapon that you happen to have at home.
I'm missing the claws. Well, that's compliments of Joey, so.
What did he do with the claw?
So this is hold your lobster in your hand, grab your tail. You're going to twist. Okay? Pull. Here, now, you have your lobster.
Roll.
Tail.
Tail.
Okay? Now, we're going to open up the tail like this. You're going to hold the fins at the end of the tail, and you're just going to rip them off. They come off pretty easy.
The fins?
Yep, and we're going to put our shells here. Okay? Now, my father taught me this trick when I was very young, and it amazes me how many people don't know how to get the lobster tail out clean. Simple trick. You're going to open up your lobster. You're going to get a fork. You're going to stick it in the bottom side of the lobster. Okay? So here's where the little tail would be at this side, or at the other side, the part that's attached to the body. And you're just going to pull. And it slides right out.
Oh,
wow.
That's
One piece.
wonderful.
Pretty cool, huh?
And I'll quickly throw in that this is how my father, who was in the lobster business, taught me how to do it.
That way.
You go, especially if it's a hard shell, you crack it this way first, and you'll hear a crunch, crunch, and then you just fan it open like that.
Yep.
And then,
I think Felicia's looked much easier.
Can I try the fork? Can I try the fork way?
Absolutely.
it's just a different approach, same idea.
It is.
It comes out in one piece,
Yep.
which you can eat all at once if you love lobster. Oh,
You want to
Sorry,
clean. You want to clean the little. We're going to show you what
Wow,
to do.
right.
Wonderful.
Pull it back.
Isn't that
No,
easy?
that fork trick is amazing.
Yes.
What size?
I always do it
Works really
Wendy's
well.
way, but in the future I will
These
do
are
it
the chicks.
Felicia's.
These are the
Little
chicks.
guys, yeah.
So now we have our lobster tail. It's out. Now we're going to start again at the side that was attached to the body. All right. You're going to it's loose at the top of the tail. You're going to pull it back.
Get all that.
You just pull it straight down.
Peels right off.
Pearls right off. Now, as you can see, we have a little dark colored something.
Goo.
We don't eat that. We're going to put that right in our little
Trash here.
trash container. And we're going to take our fresh meat. Now, some people will do just like this. You clean it, it's still a little wet and a little gushy, and they put it in the bowl and they mix it with mayonnaise. Sister Felicia would never do it that way.
Never.
Ever.
Ever.
This is when the paper towels.
This is proper hygiene of your lobster.
Okay? Because I like things clean and I like my kitchen clean and I like to eat clean food.
She's clean.
All right? We're going to take the paper towel.
And Kim, you're paying attention.
We place it down on a flat surface. we're gonna put our lobster meat
Should
in
we
there.
put ours in
Yep,
there?
put
Yeah.
all yours in there.
Put your dirty lobster in there.
We're just gonna
Mine's
clean.
very gross.
Now, some people will rinse this under the sink, and I've been known to do that. My father used to flip out when I did
Yeah,
that.
you're not supposed to do that.
I do that
Yes.
actually, personally.
But if you don't want to and you
Correct.
feel like you're gonna lose the flavor of the lobster, you're not going to if you rinse it in the faucet. But some people say you will, so we're just gonna
We're gonna be purist.
pat it dry with a paper towel. Okay? You wanna make sure at the end of your tail, you go all the way and you take out that little tube
Of
that's
poop.
connected to the intestines.
I'm sorry, it's a tube of poop. It
It
is.
is a tube of
Sorry.
poop, but we're gonna call it the
Everybody needs to know about
intestinal
biology.
tube. Okay? So everything
Lobsters
is patted
poop
dry.
too.
See? Nice, fresh, nice, dry, clean
Beep.
meat. All right? Getting the brown, as Wendy would say, poop out.
Lobster poop.
Yes. Okay. So here's our lobster meat clean. So we're just going to continue on.
Are we
We're
using
gonna
the
do
claws?
this. We are going to use the claws, but let's do all the tails first.
Roger.
Okay?
You want to stick-
Because I like
Grab
to stay
another one?
organized.
Right.
Yes. Grab another one.
Oh, we're gonna do all of them. I get it.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. And clean the surface, because you know I have to have things clean. Okay.
I don't even
I
want
wanna
to know what
try-
happens
I wanna
if it
try the
doesn't
fork.
stay
Yeah,
clean.
you
What happens?
want to try the fork, or you're going to
I have
do it
to
dead?
try the
Okay,
fork.
so you're going to take
All
your
right.
claw, you just pull it off the body. You're going to take this little piece, you pull it off. These are soft shells, so seriously, you can just rip it with your hand.
Right there. It's
Yep.
But if you
amazing.
had to, you would get the cracker, and you would make a crack here, you would make a crack further down, and the meat will come out.
Or you can use a lobster pick if you have to
Yes.
pull it
Well,
out.
there's so much meat in these little chicken lobsters.
Yeah, those are good lobsters.
And the
Those are Captain Joe and Sons lobsters. Of course they're good.
They smell divine. They smell so fresh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so here
this
we have
lobster
our
is
meat.
so fresh. It said
There's your
"F
claw.
you" to me this morning.
All right,
we
you
used
can
to say
shut.
in the fish
You
store.
can shut it
What
off.
do I know?
We're visually.
All right, so we're gonna have all our clean lobster meat. We're gonna put it
Maybe we can take our
onto
clothes off.
a cutting board.
Just kidding.
All right, and you're just gonna chop your meat. I always like to save a couple of the claws just as a garnish on top. It looks pretty. You don't have to, but I always save. So I have 3
Yeah,
set
you can
aside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop our lobster meat just into bite-sized pieces. Now, if you don't want to chop and you want to tear, knock yourself right out. You can do whichever you'd like. I don't care. I'm all for using my hands in the
You want to
kitchen.
go first, Wendy?
But sometimes it looks a little bit more professional when you use a knife. All right, so we're just chopping. I'm stealing your knife.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'll be the watching the chopping.
Okay, let's go. Why don't you put that back in the bowl and give me that pile here? Great.
This is making me really hungry.
Looks like we have a yummy lunch, girls.
I see
courtesy of
some shells got
Joey.
in there. Remember, we don't want shells
No
in
shells.
our lobster meat. That's okay.
Probably
All right,
did that.
so we're going
Is that
back
chopped
in.
enough, Felicia?
That's perfect. Into the bowl. Okay, now here's where it gets a little tricky. You're using mayonnaise just to hold the meat together. We're not making a sauce, okay? Mayonnaise. I highly doubt we need more than that.
Oh, that smells so
She even
good.
stirs like a professional.
So we're not too much on the mayo. Now, lobsters don't come seasoned. A little bit of salt. Doesn't need to be a lot. Tiny bit of fresh ground pepper. As I push Wendy over.
Stand back! This woman is serious.
No, I noticed you used Hellman's mayonnaise.
I used
Oh, you
Hellmann's
had to bring it up,
mayonnaise.
didn't you? You just couldn't resist.
Now, Joey uses only Cane's.
We had previously decided not to
Hanes or
discuss this,
Hellman's?
Joey, on the air.
I don't think it really matters Hanes or Hellman's, but
Not.
not Marigold.
No,
And
on
it's-
the Miracle
it's
Whip.
truly
You
not
will go to
necessary.
lobster jail.
But
if you use
it's
Miracle
truly
Whip.
not necessary to go through all the work of making homemade mayonnaise unless you have it already in your refrigerator and you would like to use it. That's wonderful, but don't feel like you can't make a lobster roll with store-bought mayonnaise because you so can. All right.
No mustard.
Now this is another trick. You're using regular hot dog buns. I mean, these are the cheapest buns you can buy in the grocery store. Doesn't need to be fancy. You want the edges like this. You don't
Get the
want
cheap
you don't
buns.
want the smooth. Yeah, you want cheap buns.
Way cheap buns.
Melt
Cheapest buns you can
salted
find.
butter in the microwave or on low heat on your stove. And you're going to use a pastry brush, and you are going to very gently.
If you don't
Butter.
have a pastry brush, you
Your
use your
roll.
paintbrush.
Or you can even do your fingers.
We're artists here.
Don't
That's what
dip
we
them
do.
into a bowl of butter.
Okay.
Do not, EJ's technique, dipping into a, not that we don't love it, and we did, but
Heart attack in a dish. Great use of butter.
pastry brush.
You're going to place it into your frying pan. All right, so we're going to do all three, and then we're going to pause, and we're going to go over to the cooktop.
To the
We're
Today
gonna
Show
grill.
cooktop set.
To the Good Morning Gloucester Gallery.
Good morning, Gloucester Today Show
1950s
set.
circa
All right,
gas
here we
stove.
go. You can pause. So we have
Pause.
our frying pan. If you have a griddle, you can use a griddle. I have a griddle at home, but I didn't bring it today. So we're just have it on high heat. You have your buns
I'm gonna
already
turn that
buttered.
up.
Turn it up.
3:30.
So really, you just place them on your warm pan, and we're just going to let them brown. When they're golden brown on one side, you're just going to turn them. The less you touch them, the better off you are. You can pause. All right, so as you can see, our buns are golden. This is what we're looking for. See that nice crisp, not burnt, but brown?
Very nice.
Perfect. I'm going to flip them over. And like I said, don't get your spatula. You don't need to press. Just let them be. And they will be fine, I promise.
And they live above it.
You can pause.
Those are beautiful.
So as you can see, their buns are perfectly toasted.
Kind of like these perfectly toasted buns.
She's crazy.
Model perfectly toasted buns.
All right, so then we're going to take our lobster meat. Wendy's going to open the bun.
Allow me.
We're
I
gonna
feel like
stuff.
the girl that spins the letters on
Okay.
Wheel of Fortune or whatever that
Okay,
is.
don't
Van-
open them
Vanna
so
White.
wide. That's good.
Oh, no, she's on some other. What is she on?
Don't
Put
ask
our
me.
little garnish.
Oh, a Felicia touch.
Wow. That really is a nice
Stuffing
touch
your
to have
buns.
that.
We call this the stuffing your buns stage. Note the perfectly browned buns.
It's beautifully grilled.
No.
It's such a pretty color.
It is a pretty color.
That's why there's professionals in the world, right?
Now remember, when your bun is nice and warm, when your buns are warm,
Not touching it. Nope, not touching
you
it.
really don't
want
want,
to, but
you don't
not.
want your lobster meat to
Self-control.
be ice cold. It's an awful combination. You kind
Yes.
of want your lobster
No
meat
cold buns.
close to, not room temperature, because I know like people are going to freak out about the mayonnaise. It's not room temperature. It's just not like ice cold. It's,
Right.
Try not to
leave
freak
it
out
on the
about
counter for
mayonnaise.
just a little
It
bit.
tastes
Just
terrible.
remember
tastes
it's
terrible.
It
mayonnaise.
tastes terrible to have a hot bun and a freezing
It really does. It really does. So here we go, ladies. Here is the
Oh,
GMG.
that's beautiful.
Very traditional.
Perfect.
Very
Traditional.
simple.
Oh, thank you.
Delicious.
Felicia. Oh my
Fresh.
goodness.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Making a graceful area tonight.
Put your glasses
Okay.
down.
All right, you're on.
Okay, ready?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
The best part.
This is unfair. I don't get any.
It's so good, EJ.
Look at all this,